Businessman, he's a businessman with his own talk show. On the mic with Mike, is the best business radio program in the game.
Hey, RBA, this is the 10. You know another guy named Mike? Make sure you check out my main man, Mike King Biz. Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m. on Sports 106.1. On the mic, with Mike, is the champion of business talk radio. You're starting to irritate me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. You know, we'd like to thank the champ for that ringing endorsement, guy named Mike. We ain't calling no other names right here because we are the best business radio program around. Mike King, my man, Andrew Hypes is here with us. We are rolling along. We'd like to thank you for joining the program. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
All right, so I had to roll out the best for you. You know, I just can't just come, I can't say that. Just like, not totally prepared. I had to roll out the red carpet for you. We're going to touch, so you're top DJ in the city. You are out and about. You got your hand in everything, all of the cool events. We're going to talk to you about DJing, but we're also, since I always say to people, it's a business show, we're going to talk about the business side of it as well. Give people your background. And we did have a little bit of fun when you were here with us before. I said to you, Andrew Hypes is a great name. The brand, can't beat it. It's a lot better than Mike King Biz or On the Mic with Mike, which was a real stretch for me. And you dropped the words of wisdom on me that Andrew Hypes is.
That is my real government name.
So that's the government name. So, and you are a DJ. If you were an accountant, or if you were a doctor,
Right.
or if you were anything else, that would just be, that'd be a good name. It's cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
But sir, you are a DJ in a business of hyping yourself, or see, for folks who aren't old enough to remember it, Flavor Flav said you can't copyright no beat. And you know what, Flav, you were wrong. Because back in the day, you needed to copyright beats because people need to get paid.
Right.
And so you're in the business of being a DJ. Give people your background, and then we're going to go into the business side of it.
Yeah, once again, my name is Andrew Hypes. Excuse me. I am a DJ music producer originally from Waynesboro, Virginia, based in Richmond now.
You're just gonna drop it right.
Okay. I've been DJing.
Yes.
I've been DJing 18 years and producing 16. My dad was a musician. I got started drumming really young.
Oh, so when you were beating around the house, it wasn't a problem.
No, it made sense. My dad had he had a drum kit. I used to sit and watch him play. And then I think third grade is when I started performing in elementary school. But I was playing, probably about like two or three.
Alrighty, I always ask people, is being a performer as cool as it seems?
It's amazing.
I bet it is.
I love it.
I bet it is.
Yeah, I love it.
So when you were, okay, so you say you were third grade, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you first got out there, were you nervous?
I mean, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, I had done it so much by that point and just watched my dad do it so many times.
It was natural.
Yeah, it just felt natural.
Okay, so the drummer, my mom always liked the drummer and the bass player. She was like, they were the coolest guys in the band. How do you go from drumming to doing beats, and explain to the listeners exactly what that is?
So producing, my parents bought me some software. I think I was going into like 6th grade. They bought me software for the computer, which kind of got me familiar with doing production, so arranging the drums and then adding keys and instrumentation and stuff like that. But again, music is always something I've been interested in. It was just a matter of figuring out where to channel it. So, once I started doing remixes in like 7th, 8th grade, I started like really doing blends, taking Leonard Skinner and mixing it with Little John, so stuff like that. And then from there, it just kind of excelled to, okay, well, I want to create my own original music. And, so progressed. I went to college in Orlando. Went to Full Sail briefly. I didn't finish, but I was going for audio engineering at the time.
That's what my man Emmanuel from DB Arcade, he went there too.
Okay, yeah, it's a great school. It's one of those things at the end of the day where you just got to have that drive and ambition. I mean, you can have that paperwork,
But if you don't have a hustle,
yeah, if you don't have the hustle, I mean, you just got to be able to go get it. So yeah.
one of Mike, Andrew Heights is here with us, doing big things out there. ESPN Richmond is where we are. That's part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network. We're here talking to him about DJing and also the business aspect of it. Okay, so you're going down to Full Sail. At what point did you realize, okay, I'm pretty good at this thing?
Oof. I don't know. I don't. So I placed a song with, you know who Lecrae is?
Yeah.
So I produced a song for Lecrae, featuring Jonte Austin, who wrote "We Belong Together" for Mariah. I mean,
okay. So all right. So hold on, man. You just can't come dropping that on us. How do you get a song to Lecrae?
Okay, so one of my mentors is a guy named Troy Taylor. Big shout out to Troy Taylor. Troy Taylor discovered and developed Trey songs.
Okay.
It's funny, I actually reached out to Troy through Facebook and I just started nagging him for years and years.
And I tell people, if you don't think, people like, I don't know whether that works. I look at people straight in the eye and say, you're here, aren't you? If you don't think that works, but you kind of got to have something, instead of just being a nag and a pest, right. You kind of got to have some skills to go along with it.
I mean, yeah, definitely. And of course you want to be professional, you don't want to be overly eager, but I would just constantly send this guy records and finally I think it took like 2 years. And he texted me one day. He's like, yo, do you have Snapchat? And I was like, no. He was like, what? Well, get it and add me. And I added, and he was in the studio with Craig and Jonte recording.
Okay, so let me ask you. So all those times you didn't get a response back?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Until
crickets. And then what was it like when you got the response back?
It was amazing. It was super exciting. Sitting here now that I think about it though, there was actually one situation before that I really do feel like is like the one that kind of triggered everything. So having Lecrae, this guy's got Grammys, of course that was a huge opportunity, but the first opportunity I got would be with Richmond native Mad Skills.
Okay, so you were the DJ for Mad Skills.
No, I produced a song for him on his album Thoughts Become Things.
Okay, so now all of a sudden the name Andrew Heights. How did he come across you? How did that connection happen?
Man, I met Skills in Charlottesville at a Common concert. Common brought Skills up to perform, and I saw him after the show, and I was just like, bro, like I would love to send you some records. And he gave me his email, and kind of the same situation. I would send him beat after beat, and I never heard anything. I didn't hear anything from Skills for like 2.5 years, something. And then finally he was like, yo, if I like something, I'm gonna hit you back. And so I kept sending stuff, and finally I got one, and I drove up here one day, right? I think it was New Year's Eve. I remember him calling me, and I think within a week I drove up here to work on the record with him at his house. And since then, we got super cool. Skills like one of my, like my OG.
Okay, so Andrew Heights is here with us. This is the best business radio program around. Mike King here. He's talking about making dreams come true. All right, let's talk about that. Some people would say that's a lot of L's, sending a lot of demos out, all of those things. Yeah. Talk to a person out there who has a dream. Everybody has a dream. How do you make that happen?
I mean, you just don't give up. You literally just can't give up. Like I was saying earlier, you got to maintain that drive and ambition. I think that's the biggest thing. You have to every day wake up and say you're going to progress in some way that day. You're going to make, whether it's a new contact, you just have to set goals, realistically. Like every morning I try to wake up and do something productive, whether it's finish a song or get booked in a different place. You just have to constantly be setting goals to help push yourself.
One of Mike Andrew Heights is here. Alrighty, so the business side of it, we see the fun side. I see you out there. Shout out to you for all the things that you're doing. Our girl Heather Marie Speaks. I saw her last night. She is a master at the media game.
She's amazing.
She truly is. So the song that you did with her was just everybody. We were shocked that she could sing, and then
she can really sing.
She can really sing,
yeah.
And then the production that goes into it. Let's talk a little bit about the business side of it. So like you're saying, we see you up on stage, you're doing your thing, everybody's yeah, the crowd's going crazy.
Right.
Okay, that's the part of the Andrew Heights that people see.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the part with Andrew Heights and how you got there to that venue, or what it takes for a DJ who's out there trying to make it, or any business owner, because some of these are just business tidbits that it doesn't matter whether you're, what business you're in. These are good business practices.
Right. So I mean, a lot of the time I'll get in with artists. I'll invite artists, like a Heather over, and we'll just create, on the spot, create the track. And then from there, of course, you have to register it. I'm with BMI as far as my publishing and stuff goes, but we'll register it with Congress, copyright it, of course, all that stuff. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, let's get into some of the intellectual property, the copywriting. How important is that part?
I mean, super important these days too. The way the industry is, it can be, it's very cutthroat. So you want to have your stuff protected, so that it can't get ripped off, because there are producers, there are people out here that will literally take what you've done, resample it, and sell it, and it can make millions and millions. And because you didn't have, those copyrights, that proper paperwork or registered, now you're out.
I remember back in the 80s and 90s, you would hear samples. So we would go from Pennsylvania. My wife was from New York. We would go up to New York, record off the radio, then bring it back and be a hit there because people didn't have access to it. And you could hear all of the mixes, especially Clue in those days.
Oof.
Was just like,
what an era.
It was every other 10 seconds, you knew exactly whose beat it was because he's saying,
right,
Clue or Desert Storm.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Because what happens is so we got my man Eric Foster in the house here of Eric Foster Media. He's a photographer. When he sees his picture out there, when you hear your beat, do you know that somebody got you? Or
I mean, yeah, if I didn't get paid for it, absolutely.
You just know that's your beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the process then? What happens then?
I mean, at that point, you have to decide whether or not it's worth it to take legal action, because realistically, it's like, unless the song really
hit,
that's when you would kind of want to wait and play that game. Like, okay, you got my song, I got it registered and I got it copyright, so I own it, but you use it. So I'm gonna wait. I'll let it build up, and they can accumulate all those streams all they want. And then at the end of the day, once I go to them and say, yeah, well, I got this paperwork and here's my lawyer, now they have to pay you.
Let me introduce you to my lawyer.
Right.
Which is always a good thing to have. All righty, so Mike King, Andrew Hypes is here. How can people find and follow you out there?
Everything is at Andrew Hypes, andrewhypes.com, Facebook, Andrew Hypes, everything.
All right, so from the revenue side, we see DJ up there spinning the records. Mm-hmm. We've talked about, people can hire you, and we've talked about what you love the songs that they play, for the playlist. You do that. What are the other revenue streams or opportunities that sometimes a person may not know about when it comes to the DJ or the music world?
Oh man. So I had a video go viral. I think it was like 2016, but it was me making a song out of a face trimmer, an electric face trimmer. And IBM reached out to me about working with them to figure out how we could do something similar with their databases. So they flew me to Montpellier, France, London, Poughkeepsie, New York, to essentially go in and beat on their data centers with, drumsticks, mallets, and create music with those. And then from there, I got flown to Vegas for their big conference to showcase the songs that I made entirely out of, fans. And then I got to DJ it was at the MGM Grand. But I got to showcase all the music that I created doing that in all those different places.
When you're doing all those things, I remember Damon John from Shark Tank said that they own Queens before FUBU took the world over. At what point was it first that Richmond realized that Andrew Hypes had blown up, or you were out there and then all of a sudden the word kind of crept back here and all of a sudden people started taking that guy serious?
Man, that would, so I had
You got a million, I mean, you got a million stories.
I have a couple.
Yeah, you got a couple.
I was fortunate enough to have another video go viral in 17 that, or 19, I think, 18, that really changed my life. I was DJing at VCU's campus. It was a DJ battle. Shout out my homegirl Almira. She was putting on this DJ battle, and it was crazy. My wife and I were in Cancun for our honeymoon, and I got word that that they bumped it up a week. So I literally was prepping my set in Cancun. I had I think like one day to practice it, and the next day I did it at campus, at VCU's campus. And yeah, I played Surfing USA, Beach Boys to Swag Surfing, and it just
took off.
I mean, literally that night I went from 7,000 followers to like 30. Like, it was insane. Literally overnight, Shaquille O'Neal actually DM'd me and was like, he DM'd me and was like, I like that mix. And it was funny, but I scrolled past it because I didn't think it
can't be him.
I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's not Shaq. And I think it was like 6 hours later, I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my gosh,
that was Shaq.
this is really Shaquille O'Neal DMing me. So of course I message him back and I'm like, hey man, if you want it, I'll send it to you. You know, of course, you know, I wanted to generate some conversation with him and, you know, build that rapport. And fast forward to now, man, and you know, I talked to him on the phone. I've done remixes. I've produced 3 or 4 songs with Shaq that he's rapping on. I got 4 records.
So it's not Shaq the Foosh Snickens. This is Shaq.
This is Shaq, aka DJ Diesel. Is his DJ name.
Okay, so now that's why we're the best business radio program around, because we got a guy who's doing them, you know, mixes for Shaq. So the word got out, you blew up down at VCU. Then all of a sudden, does it make it easier to get jobs, or are you still going to get jobs, or most of them coming to you?
I'm exploiting all of that. I'm reaching out. I mean, like I said, I mean, that situation allowed me to end up DJing in New York, Los Angeles, Texas. And no, don't get me wrong, those weren't because people reached out to me from those places. Those are because I said, hey, this is my resume, this is what I've done. Here's this video, went viral. I mean, everywhere, posted at Shade Room. It was posted everywhere.
So when people are out there, and I always say to people, if you think no one's watching when you are posting, keep doing it.
Always.
Keep doing it. My granddaughter says I'd get more likes and followers if I put her in every video. That's what happens.
That might be true. Yeah.
You know, it might be, because when people look at you, let's talk about likes and followers and engagement. How important is that in your world? Do you need a lot of that for street? I want to call it street cred, but credibility? Or
I look at social media as like your resume. It's my resume, kind of. You know. I try to post everything that I do, you know, whether it's music production or DJing on there. So I kind of treat it like a resume, you know, to say, hey, this is what I do. You can see what I did last week, where I was DJing, how many times I was DJing each month, you know, my schedule, stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily say you need 1 million followers, but it's like, if you have followers, genuine followers that you that aren't paid for and all that stuff, I mean, if you maximize those opportunities through those people, because you never know what some of those people can do, you know, what they do, what their hands are in, who they might know and stuff like that. So I mean, I do feel like social media plays a major role these days.
Are you so were you always a creative? So you come from parents who are creative types.
Yes.
Was that you always?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I've been involved in music since.
And you also said you're a nerd. You're the computer guy.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd. We always had computers around the house that I was taking apart and putting together and stuff like that.
So when we talked to Anthony Romanello of Henrico Economic Development a little while ago, and he's talking about big data and moving big files.
Yeah.
That's something that you understand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the guys, I think he said it was like 265 terabytes per second. And all my nerds out there are going to instantly know what that means. And that is impressive.
That's big data.
That's fast.
Alrighty, so your catalog of music, how do you store, where do you keep it? And when you go to, when I see you at the Hofheimer,
Mhm.
do you go in with the set already in
No.
mind, or are you just vibing off the crowd?
Yeah, I always read off the crowd. If it's a specific show, sometimes I'll put together a set, but for the most part, I just want it to be as genuine as possible. So if I see people in there, I kind of try to read what they like. So I'll throw out some random stuff every now and then to see how people bite. And yeah, I'll create like a playlist per se, but I don't know what song I'm gonna play after I do all that on the spot.
It's the feeling
Yeah.
that you get. Let's talk about the creative scene here in Richmond. It seems to be on fire, but you're out at the time when a lot of the magic happens. You're out late. What's the mood in the streets these days?
I mean, Richmond's music scene's amazing. Big shout out to Radio B.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, Radio B does a lot of amazing things for the culture out here. A bunch of artists that I'm working with, Repaton, Slim Cartel, Fresh Porter. These are all guys that I'm working with currently right now on different projects. But yeah, I mean, the music scene's amazing here.
Already on the mic with Mike Andrew Hype. Hey, when I do the music series, you need to have some of those guys come through. We'll put them the same thing that we did with Heather and all the other folks. Love to have them on. One last time, how can people find you out there?
Everything is at Andrew Hypes on social media and andrewhypes.com.
On the mic with Mike, the best, and we're the best because we get the best guests. This young man is out there doing really big things. Your dad, 3-year. Oh, you know what? This is the grandfather in me. You got to take your daughter to the zoo.
Yes.
She'll love it. Don't,
Definitely.
as all the grandparents out there, don't go to the ball pit. It'll kill you like it killed me. On the mic with Mike, we gotta go. Bye.